Get ready to experience a whole new wave of electrifying entertainment this side of your screens. Introducing the new Rock of Manila TV, your one-stop destination for cutting-edge music and entertainment. Rock of Manila is here to shake things up, starting off with the following shows. The country's premier pro wrestling promotion showcases spectacular athleticism, colorful storylines, and larger-than-life characters with Manila Wrestling Federation's Action Novela TV. The return of RJTV's classic sports entertainment show, Pinoy Wrestling. Comics, films, TV, toys, games, science and tech, all the cool stuff that makes you go wow with the geeky misfit gang of Nerd Rage. Join musician Zach Lucero as he rides through the motoring world in his popular online show, Makina. Catch the fresh, eclectic, and dynamic side of music at the Vibe Factory. Get ready as the music goes bigger, harder, and louder with Amped. Join us as we travel back to where the legends lorded over with Pinoy rock and rhythm. And that's just the beginning. There will be more. Feel the shockwave. Rock of Manila TV, where everything rocks. Available on Sky Cable 229, your digital TV boxes, and on Facebook and YouTube Live. And check out our social media pages.
Hello there! Hey, it's Tim, pop culture crusader and Batman guy.
Hi, it's Karen May and I am a kawaii pirate.
Hi, it's Veronica. I'm that 90s chick, and I'm here with my vintage Star Wars action figures.
And I'm Adrian, dot of the geeks.
And you're on Nerd Rage! Alright, this is a brand new week, a brand new episode, so let's get into it. This is This Week in Geek right now.
So this week in Geek, if you're a gamer like I am, there's been a lot of news coming from Gamescom, which is held annually and hosted by Geoff Keighley from the Game Awards. So if you're into video games and you want to find out the latest and greatest, that's one of the events you have to tune into. And so far, based on my list, we had trailers for Tekken 8. Yes, it finally has a release date. They announced it for January 26, 2024, and it's coming to PlayStation 5, Xbox Series X and S, and PC. So we've been looking forward to the next King of Iron Fist tournament. Tekken producer Katsuhiro Harada has promised that the game will be coming out as soon as January rolls in. We'll be having a new Game Quest mode, so you can create your own little avatar and explore the world of Tekken and play against other players from around the world. And speaking of fighting games, come September, in a couple of weeks, we are going to be getting Mortal Kombat 1, the long-awaited sequel, which will see Liu Kang's new era, which he forged, become a reality. So we'll see familiar characters with different histories, new warriors, new fatalities. So if you're a Mortal Kombat fan like I am, I'm looking forward to that. And there was a new trailer that was showcased that showed two new characters, General Shao and Sindel. You can watch that online, or you can see some clips that we're going to be featuring here. In other gaming news, new game announcements, Little Nightmares 3. So if you love the first two Little Nightmares games, you'll be getting that with a new entry into the series. A new trailer was shown for the new DLC for Cyberpunk 2077, which is a pretty good game now. They've been adding patches after that disastrous launch a couple of years ago, but CD Projekt Red has been fixing it, and they're going to be delivering that game next month as well. We're getting some pretty good games coming up at the end of this year and towards next year. So if you're looking forward to more video game stuff, tune in. We'll be giving you the rest here at Third Rage.
Mamma mia! Charles Martinet is leaving the Mario role. What? That's right, after almost 30 years of service, Charles Martinet, the voice actor of Mario and his brother Luigi, is hanging up the plunger? Because he's a plumber? So he's hanging that plunger up. After so many years of service, this announcement was made by Nintendo on the Twitter, which we call X now, but I feel like calling it Twitter. And they said that he will be moving on to a role called Mario Ambassador. Mario Ambassador, what does that mean? So why did he leave the role after so many years? This dude is the OG. Well, according to a Nintendo source, it was due to various reasons. Wow, how vague. I feel like I learned so much from that statement. And you know what that means, right? It means that the upcoming platformer Super Mario Wonder, which is gonna be a side-scroller once again, will not have his voice. It will be voiced by new characters, both Mario and Luigi. So we don't know. We're gonna find out when we see the credits roll. And we can stay tuned for an upcoming video announcement by Mario creator Shigeru Miyamoto and of course Charles Martinet. So what are we gonna find out? Let's see, or should I say, let's see and let's go. It's me. Well, as a Mario fangirl, I have to say that I'm gonna miss Charles Martinet as the OG voice actor. I mean, this dude was my childhood. He was the voice in Mario Teaches Typing who taught me how to work that keyboard. And he is also popular for the Mario 64 onwards. So I salute you, man, and all I have to say is Link! Oh, but that's so sad. Maybe it should be the happy song. The happy song when you reach the flag.
Power Ranger YouTuber and former Sponge Cola drummer Chris Cantada has released a new single and music video. So what does this have to do with us other than the fact that Chris is, you know, one of our biggest YouTubers and a professional geek? And other than the fact that I I definitely worked on the music video as director of photography. The music video for Always also happens to feature Black Ranger Walter Emmanuel Jones. Check out the song over at YouTube, look for Chris Cantada Forces page and it's gonna be there. Incidentally, the music video also happens to feature other respected musicians such as Inky De Jos and his former Sponge Cola cohorts, Erwin Armovit and Ted Marcus. So, if you love the video, enjoy the song. Incidentally, the music video for Always is also playing here on Rock of Manila TV. Just watch our Vibe Factory music block and enjoy.
Ahoy, our flag means death, fans. Season 2 is finally coming after a heartbreaking season ender. Good Omens season. Now, we have the follow-up that will hopefully heal our collective hearts and souls. Vanity Fair broke the news, so don't worry, OFMD fans. You know the ship is gonna keep sailing. News of its demise have been largely exaggerated. And we actually have set photos to prove it. So Vanity Fair featured it in an article. And you can see that it has Speed, with the Revenge crew, and they're like hanging out in like some vaguely East Asian region. So we will find out soon. There is also freaking Ed, aka Blackbeard, being all moody in his emo era, growing back the beard because you know he shaved it off in the last season. Then he put like some sort of charcoal on it. So now he's growing the beard back, and he is still healing from his broken heart. Spoiler alert for season 1. So let's see what will happen. Are they gonna reunite? Who knows? And also we have some new characters. There's Anne Bonny, and there's also Susan the Mysterious Merchant, who is also in a vaguely East Asian region. So maybe she will be meeting up with Steve. Who knows? So I really can't wait for that. Also, I cannot wait for the pure, unadulterated chemistry between my fabulous gay pirates, played by Reese Darby and Taika Waititi. Yay! Yay for shippers everywhere. So, when the showrunner David Jenkins was asked online about the series, how he would describe the season, he was like, and I will have to censor myself, but just imagine the F word. He said, bleeping sweet. Which is not 3 words, but maybe 3 syllables. So maybe that sort of works. So that's great. I don't know what that means, but perhaps it means that we will have the epic, ultimate reconciliation arc for our gay pirates. I'm so stoked. So our flag means that season 2 is setting sail and riding those waves on October. This coming October on HBO. So I am so stoked. How about you? I'm ready. I'm ready to ship. The ship will be sailing. We will all be there. We will all be fangirling and fanboying. So see you there. Ahoy. Ship. Oh no, not ships away. Ahoy. Anchors away.
Yeah, Ronnie, it's been a heavy week for wrestling.
We lost Terry Funk, and then 24 hours later, we lost Bray Wyatt.
Wyndham Rotunda.
Oh my goodness. You know, what can we say about these two men?
First of all, we have to say our condolences to their families and to the wrestling universe, the WWE universe, the AEW universe,
The
whatever
wrestling world.
promotion that you may have seen them or they were a part of. They were very influential figures.
You know, starting off with someone like Terry Funk, and you know, we knew this was going to happen.
Yes.
Terry Funk wasn't exactly in the best of health for the last couple of years.
He had dementia.
You know, Mick Foley did a lot. Mick Foley, someone who was mentored by Terry Funk.
Terry Funk. Hardcore.
Hardcore.
Yeah.
You know, he gave a lot. You know, he provided people on social media with different updates on how Terry's been doing. You know, what can you say about Terry Funk? He said a career that lasted what?
5 decades.
5-6 decades.
My God, that's a true legend right there.
Former NWA World's Heavyweight Champion,
Wow.
former ECW World Champion.
Exactly. And if you thought you couldn't do it, Terry Funk could do it at that age.
Yeah. So, like, what we now know as hardcore wrestling was pioneered and revolutionized by Terry Funk in the 1970s and into the 1980s. And then he really made it something even more special in ECW back in the 90s.
He was really an innovator.
He was a real innovator. For instance, one of the most iconic matches in professional wrestling is the empty arena I Quit match between Terry Funk and Jerry Lawler from Memphis.
Yeah, he just pushed it to the limit right there.
They just pushed it to the limit. And, you know, that match basically served a template for everything that came after it.
Another match that I remember Terry Funk most fondly is when he paired with Mick Foley as Cactus Jack, that's Mick Foley, and Chainsaw Charlie, that was Terry Funk. And they fought the New Age Outlaws. And
WrestleMania 14.
Yeah, and the other incident happened in Raw, where the New Age Outlaws pushed a dumpster off the stage.
They put them inside. They locked them in the
They
dumpster.
locked it, and they were inside. And we know it's a work, but
Yeah,
still,
but it was great. Like, that was like intense at the time.
exactly. And one of the last shots was Terry Funk twitching his panda, and it looked real. Back then, we didn't have social media. You were just watching it on live TV, and you thought, "Is this real?" So they really are innovators, and they were professionals.
Oh, and to take that back a little bit, one of the best Terry Funk matches happened in 1989 when he was feuding with Ric Flair, and that actually gave us one of the first table spots in mainstream wrestling when Terry Funk gave Ric Flair a pile driver on the table. In addition to that, because we've seen a lot of pro wrestlers, once they hit a certain age, they really try to extend their career.
Yes.
Terry Funk, back in the 90s, at 53 years old, became the ECW champion. And he was doing things like he was doing moonsaults off of ladders.
Yeah.
He was having amazing matches with guys a lot younger than him, like Raven, the Sandman, Chris Candido.
He was really a mentor figure, and he put them over.
He put them over, and that's the thing. He made guys. He made stars. He wasn't selfish. He made stars. Best example of all, Mick Foley.
Mick Foley.
Mick Foley.
In fact, during Mick Foley's career, he was there at his side during that infamous Hell in a Cell match between Undertaker and Mankind Mick Foley, and he was trying to stop the match.
He lost his shoe.
Yeah, he tried to stop the match.
He lost his shoe.
You gotta watch it. It's there on YouTube. WWE uploaded it, but again, we can name so many highlights about Terry Funk's career that he's up there right now with the rest of the superstars. We extend our condolences, rest in peace, and thank you, Terry Funk.
And then with Bray Wyatt.
Yes, that's another one.
Oh my God, that was so unexpected.
36 years old.
36 years old.
Third generation superstar. He followed in the footsteps of his grandfather.
And his father.
And his father was IRS.
Mike Rotonda, and not just that, but his uncle was Barry Windham, who WWE fans may know as the Stalker.
Yes.
He was also part of the Four Horsemen.
Yes.
And in the 1980s, Barry Windham and Mike Rotunda, IRS, were a tag team.
Tag team, one of the most menacing tag teams. In fact, it's sad that we lost somebody at the peak of his career, and I don't know, with so many times that WWE had to let him go and then
bring him back,
and then we were just really rooting for him to get that push.
The thing about Bray Wyatt, when you take a look and watch his work from the last 10 years, even before that, when he was still Husky Harris in NXT, he was always incredibly talented in the ring, and more than anything, he was an artist.
He was very creative. In fact, all of the skits, all of the personas,
the vignettes,
everything that he...
Even the matches were so cinematic.
Yeah, everything that he made that just came out of his mouth, it brought everything to life.
Yeah.
Everybody was just there.
Everyone was there. He literally had the whole world in his hands.
Yeah, let's sing that.
It's just incredible, and that's always one of the best things about Bray Wyatt as a character. I think a lot of people have the tendency to, everyone, says, oh, Bray Wyatt was the second coming of The Undertaker, and there's truth to that. But I think everyone is just so focused on The Undertaker's winning streak that they forget the artistry and the pageantry that comes along with The Undertaker. And even though Bray Wyatt didn't exactly have the best WrestleMania streak because of how he was booked, and I'm in wrestling, I can get it. Bray Wyatt's a reliable hand. He's an amazing heel. And if you want to set up a good guy, you put him in a program with a heel the fans can get around, because that's how you sell it.
That's how you
make a baby face.
The thing is, he may have been compared to Taker. In fact, one of his last big moments was getting
the endorsement.
The passing of the torch moment with Undertaker, which it's still heavy for us to remember that moment. But one thing about Bray Wyatt is it didn't matter to him. He just wanted to
He just
express
wanted to perform.
He just wanted to express himself, and he was great.
And he would. You know, the crazy thing is that Bray's gone.
I know.
And then before that,
Luke Harper.
we lost Luke Harper, also known as Brody
Brody
Lee.
Lee.
That's 2 members of the Wyatt family.
In fact, it's heartbreaking, but we know that
They're in wrestling heaven together.
they're in wrestling heaven. They're in a better place. But we'll always remember the matches, and you could see. We were just talking about this now. The SmackDown episode that paid tribute to Bray Wyatt, phenomenal.
10-bell salute.
It was handled well.
Beautiful
WWE,
10-bell salute.
they dropped all their plans. It reminded me, I was telling Ronnie this, it reminded me so much of how they paid tribute to the late, great Eddie Guerrero. You could see that he was loved,
Oh, yeah.
and all of those moments will be remembered. He had an air of mystery around him, from delving into the macabre to doing Sesame Street-like vignette.
The evolution of his character,
Yeah.
from that original swamp religious-y gimmick,
The redneck gimmick.
and into something along the lines of the Firefly Funhouse. I mean, I have no words to describe it. And once again, it's hard to really articulate Bray Wyatt because it's so sudden. But he's had a lot of great moments. His feud with John Cena,
Yes.
both his first feud and his later feud during the pandemic, regardless of which side you're on that, those are great matches, and those programs are amazing to watch. I've also loved the feud with the Wyatt family against Randy Orton.
Yeah, Randy just went in, and then
Oh my
afterwards,
God!
yeah.
It was especially in WrestleMania when they did that thing where there's an overhead shot of the ring, and they just projected a bunch of stuff into the ring, and it was great.
Phenomenal.
Another one that I liked recently was, well, not necessarily recently, pre-pandemic. It was his feud against. It was the Wyatt family feud against Daniel Bryan when he was first back. That was a great feud.
When he returned.
When he returned.
The other one I liked was, it was to introduce him back into WWE, and when he brought the broken Matt Hardy gimmick.
Oh, that was good.
that one where he was blessed with the water, and then they became a tag team, and they won the championship together.
But
That was great.
it was good. But I think nothing can really compare to the connection he had with Alexa Bliss.
Oh, wow.
The way he turned Alexa Bliss into the dark side and the way they played around with it is seriously some of the best and most compelling stuff WWE has done in the last decade. If you haven't seen it or any of his work, please do yourself a favor. Most of it's on YouTube. Check it out. It's an amazing watch. Even if you're not a wrestling fan, if you're just there for the characters and the story, you're going to have a lot of fun.
Exactly. And our hearts again go out to the Wyatt fans and to the family of Wyndham Rotonda. I mean, he has 2 new young kids, and he left behind a really good family.
Brody Lee also left behind a
Exactly.
really young son.
But everything, if you are a Bray Wyatt fan and if you buy from the WWE shop, all those proceeds go to his family. So rest in peace, Bray Wyatt. And we have to sing that again.
He's got the whole world in his hands. He's got the whole world in his hands.
Hi there, RJ here. How do you mic an instrument going through an amplifier? The professional way to do it is off-center. You don't mic it at the center, you do it on the side. So you capture both the highs and lows. Now, what's a good microphone to use to mic an instrument? A very popular practice is to use Shure SM57 for instruments. However, a Shure SM57 may not be affordable for you, so we engineered RJ57, and we made it very affordable. Now you decide whether the RJ57 sounds like Shure or may even sound better. You be the judge. We did not change any settings, and the distance from the mic to the amp was the same for both the Shure and the RJ mic. This is the Shure SM57. Now let's try the RJ57. The Shure SM57 is 6,500 pesos. The RJ57 is 899 pesos. A little over 10% only of the Shure. We give you quality products at affordable prices by the ordinary Filipino. Now let's try the Shure SM57 on an acoustic guitar. Without changing any settings, we will change the Shure SM57 to an RJ57. Now listen carefully if it sounds the same or it might even be better. It's even brighter, there's a little more bass, and there's more separation, and it's crispier. But you be the judge. A Shure SM57 is 6,500 pesos. So you can buy 7 RJ mics at 6,300. And you still have spare 200 pesos to eat at Jollibee or McDonald's. Comes in a nice box, and it includes the pouch, the cable, and the mic clip. These mics are available online on Lazada and Shopee, and also in all the RJ Guitar Center stores. So, what are you waiting for? Stocks are going fast, so you better buy one right now.
RJ Guitar Center is now the exclusive distributor of Donner USA, Amazon USA's top seller. This is the DED200. This electronic drum set is designed for beginners and professional drummers who want to dig deeper into their sound. It includes 4 10-inch nitro mesh drum pads and rubber cymbals that don't make loud noises. Plus, it also has a kick drum pad with its own pedal and beater to complete your drumming experience. It also comes with free drumsticks, drum key, and a pair of headphones. This drum set has 30 different drum kits and 450 sounds that you can program to your taste. For only 27,999 pesos, get the most out of your musical journey and play along with the DED200. Test drive the Donner line of products at any RJ Guitar Center near you. Also available on Shopee and Lazada. And check out our social media pages for more info.
So what would you do if the one that got away got back to you? That is what we're gonna tackle in this week's Screen Spot, called Past Lives by Celine Song. So the story follows Nora or Na Young, played by Greta Lee. You might know her from Spider-Verse. A little someone called my girl Lila. So she is a Korean American who moved to the States when she was young, left her hometown in Korea, and left her childhood sweetheart by the name of Haesung, who's played by Taeyu. So this guy, she's known for more than 20 years, is gonna come back in her life. That's right. The one that got away, coming right back. So they agreed to meet up in New York. But here's the catch. She's married. She has a husband. She's married to Arthur, played by John Magaro. And he is also a fellow creative because she is a playwright. He's an author. They have so many things in common. But you know, a piece of her is back in Korea. So who's she gonna choose? Right? So that is the dilemma of this movie that it tackles. And I like how it's very dialogue heavy, and it just really highlights all those uncomfortable questions that you ask, whether you're in a committed relationship, whether you're single. Do you think that guy is attractive? Do you still love me? All these very real questions that made me really stressed out while watching. And also, it's quite refreshing because the two love rivals, basically the past and the present, they get along. They're pretty chill with each other, which is so rare to see with love rivals. when you watch a lot of romantic movies. And that's the thing. I watch a lot of those rom-coms and I watch a lot of those dramas. And I'm always so, I guess, assured that it will be a good and positive conclusion, that they're going to end up together, the people who are meant to be together are going to run away together. But that's not the thing here. It's so ambiguous. I still don't know until now. So here's the thing. Is Nora or Nayoung gonna stay with the guy who calls her by her Korean name and just knows who she was before she moved out? Or is she gonna stay with the husband who met her when she was all westernized and she was pursuing her career as a playwright in New York, and also supporting that ambition because, you know, he's equally driven as her? So those are the two things here. I also love how the fashion reflects the personality of the character. So Nora, she always dresses in very loose fabric, very, you know, willowy, billowy, and that's why I'm kind of dressed like this actually. Kind of paying tribute to my girl Nora. And you see Haesung when they are hanging out around the city. He's in, you know, tuck-in, like a tuck-in outfit, like just very rigid, like very rigid. Everything is just as is, like very tight-fitting. It's just the contrast is amazing because you see that in their personalities. He's a bit more of a traditional type because he grew up in Korea, so he had those very Asian values that I think we can relate to as Pinoys. And of course, Nora grew up in the States, in Canada, you know, she moved around, and she had all those Western ideals as well. Although I don't want to compartmentalize or like limit it to that, but basically, she feels that her ambitions, her dreams were limited if she stayed back home. Like, she really wanted to pursue like bigger, greater things for herself. But the thing is, would they have worked out if they stayed together and she was still doing that, pursuing it abroad? Like the whole LDR thing, that's also another factor there. Like, would that happen? So there are so many questions like shoulda, woulda, coulda. There are so many what ifs in this movie that will make you think about it. And you know, that husband is like totally green flag in a way because he's so supportive. I'm quite surprised. Like, he's so chill because there's one part in the movie they all hang out, all three of them. I mean, he's even paying for the bill. Like, who does that? Like, he was like, no, it's okay. You can meet your long lost love. You can all chill and hang out. So they're all together. And as I said, they all got along great. So, you know, they actually liked each other, the love rivals. And, you know, by the end of it, like for me, I still don't know who she would be best with because, you know, either way, I feel like the conclusion would be so bleak because I think whoever she ends up with, that guy will always feel like they're inadequate and they're not enough. They'll always feel like that other guy could have offered something that they could never give. And that goes both ways. I think that's what's kind of difficult about this. And of course, the main theme tying all of this together is Inyon. So Inyon is the idea that you and your partner have lived thousands of past lives together. You've gone through all those challenges, and you know, it all leads up to this moment, today, right now, and you've gone through that, you've weathered everything, and now you're meant to be together. This is where the universe has taken you, and that's with your partner. And it's such a lovely thing. It's quite nice to hear because, you know, people are so jaded and desensitized right now. I think a lot are so jaded by love. So it is quite a nice watch for me. And if I had to rate this, I would say it's 4.5 over 5 Inyons. Hopefully, I will also find my Inyon. And thank you so much, Cinema 76 and PBA Studios, for inviting me to the screening. It was so much fun. Don't forget, Past Lives is coming out August 30 in cinemas. So hope you find your thought, ga. Also, warning, if you watch this movie, you might end up drunkenly texting someone. Do not. You know, I think if it's meant to be, it's meant to be. Okay, before you text your thought, gas, stay tuned, stick around because Nerd Rage is coming right back.
Welcome back to Nerd Rage, and we are here for Screen Spot.
Screen Spot.
What is Screen Spot?
So, Screen Spot's basically our film, television, video game, you name it, it's our overall review segment. So, we're going to break down Ahsoka this week,
Yes.
and we're also going to ask the question,
Is it worth it?
is Ahsoka worth it? Because we're all big Star Wars fans here. We've been following it, well, most of you guys have been following Ahsoka for years. I just started watching Clone Wars. So let's talk. Is Ahsoka worth it or not?
Well, we have to go back and give a brief background of Ahsoka. She appeared in the Star Wars, the Clone Wars animated movie first, and then she was introduced as Anakin Skywalker's Padawan. And she has appeared in the Clone Wars animated series, and then subsequently in Star Wars Rebels. Of course, we have to ask our resident Star Wars guy and the Datu of the Geeks, Adrian. What can you give some slight background with your all-knowing knowledge of Star Wars fandom? What can you tell us?
Give you background, are you ready? Yeah. And also, a mic I have, you don't need to give me that. Why did I suddenly fix my speech?
No.
Sorry. I'm back down again. So we first met Ahsoka as a Padawan of Anakin Skywalker in the Star Wars Clone Wars TV series. And at first, we all hated her. Or not we, maybe a lot of people didn't like her because she was just, I guess, irritating for a lot of people.
She's an irritating kid.
Yeah.
Yes, that's where she started. She was called Snips.
Yes, and then there's this thing called character development, and then she started really growing as a character, as her own person. We've seen her go on adventures, make some of the most dramatic decisions in the history of the Clone Wars.
Which I still have to find out.
Yes, and not instantly, but throughout the years, she became the fan favorite. And arguably the future of Star Wars, even if her story was set in the past.
Yeah, for context, she wasn't in the movies.
Yes, that's
live
true.
action movies.
Yeah, and the Clone Wars had to fill in the gaps. So now, Ahsoka, the TV show, is about what happens after Return of the Jedi. Because apparently Ahsoka was still around at the time.
After Return of the Jedi and Rebels.
Yes, that's
And Tales of the Jedi.
And she made her first. Ahsoka is played by Rosario Dawson in the live-action Star Wars TV series. She made her first appearance in season 2 of The Mandalorian.
All right, so, well, what did you guys think about the show?
So, the first 2 episodes of Ahsoka aired on Disney Plus, and you can catch them. Spoiler alert. I loved it. Of course, I love Rosario Dawson as Ahsoka Tano, but you're also introduced to the live-action versions of characters from Star Wars Rebels, namely Sabine Wren and Hela. They appeared in the first and second episode. I was a bit stunned by the ending of the first episode. It felt like plot armor, but I couldn't really understand how Sabine survived a lightsaber wound like that when even a Jedi Master like Qui-Gon Jinn. That's all I'm gonna say.
I mean, okay, so we're gonna use Tim's body here. So when Darth Maul struck Qui-Gon Jinn, it was a clean stab right in the chest. But when what's the name of that badass medieval?
Yes. Ahsoka, Shin, the Padawan of Balon, stabbed Sabine Wren.
Okay, so when Shin, she's actually my favorite character on the show.
Also.
She's pretty great. So when Shin stabbed Sabine Wren, she stabbed her over here. So the logic is she didn't puncture any major arteries, and all Sabine Wren had to do was ideally probably just lie in a bacta tank for a day or something.
Or if we're gonna count Rise of Skywalker, magical Jedi healing powers.
Magical Jedi healing powers and the Bacta tank. We don't see the Bacta tank, but I assume there's a Bacta tank because it's Star Wars.
Admit it, guys and girls. You would have wanted to see Sabine in the Bacta tank.
Look, here's my thing. It's Star Wars. There's always going to be elements of the world whenever we see it on screen. Even if we don't see it, you know, Bacta tank is part of that world. In fact, in anything, Disney Star Wars, ever since they started producing the TV shows, has done nothing but reinforce the fact that our favorite characters can heal in a Bacta tank.
That's why I said, Laat Farm.
This is why I want to think that Madame Garza from Book of Boba Fett, who's played by Mommy Jennifer Beals, is still alive somewhere because we did not see her die. And I really want my Elbert Outer Rings.
Alright, is it just me, or did the first 2 episodes of Ahsoka feel slow? Because I'm a fan of Star Wars, I'm a fan of Ahsoka as a character, and I'm really excited about this show. But I fell asleep in parts watching the show. It's not because it feels really... No, it's not because of just the slowness per se. Andor started slow. But there's a lot of things happening in that slowness. In Ahsoka, it was slow shots of nothing. And talking. And nothing. And talking. And talking. And talking. Which is what's wrong with a lot of recent Disney stuff. Don't you think, guys?
Well, you're right with that. Actually, some people compared it to Obi-Wan. But Obi-Wan also started slow when there last year. But a lot of people have praised Ahsoka because at least the action kind of picked up with the fight scenes. As compared to Obi-Wan, it was so it had to build up to that point when he would eventually confront Anakin / Darth Vader. And speaking of Anakin Skywalker, as seen in the trailers, we are going to see Hayden Christensen reprise his role as Anakin, the master of Ahsoka Tano.
You think he's gonna be a voiceover, or you think he'd appear as Clone Wars Anakin? What do you guys think?
See, it makes sense that they're going to do some flashbacks and show us live-action Clone Wars stuff. But I also want, this is just me, but I really want Force Ghost Anakin. Let's get some Force Ghost Anakin talking to Ahsoka. Because, okay, so context for me. I did not watch Clone Wars. I watched Rebels. I watched Tales of the Jedi. And then all over to Mandalorian and Book of Boba Fett. And as we all know, all these efforts is basically leading into that big Dave Filoni movie that's coming out. So I don't mind the slow burn because I'm curious to see where all these stories that we've seen so far are going to intersect and how they're going to connect to legacy Star Wars characters, including Anakin Skywalker, and I'm really hoping let's bring back some CGI Luke for this.
Okay, another interesting fact. Adrian actually posited a theory about this whole shared universe. We're talking about the Dave Filoni will combine Mandalorian, Ahsoka, and Boba Fett together. But let's hear it from the Battle of the Geeks himself. What did you say? Because there was this certain MacGuffin that was introduced in Rebels, which actually helped bring Ahsoka back. What is it?
The world between worlds. So in Star Wars Rebels, both Ahsoka, Ezra Bridger was trying to be ahead of Palpatine in unlocking or going through the world between worlds. So it's a way to traverse timelines, like time travel in the Star Wars universe, because there's no time travel really in Star Wars until they introduced the world between worlds. So what Ezra did was he actually rescued Ahsoka from that duel with Vader. So it turns out Ahsoka lived. He pulled her out of time and rescued her. So what are the implications of this in the Star Wars universe? Things can change, things can happen. I don't know exactly if the sequel trilogy can be changed? Maybe?
That's exactly why. That's exactly why.
Please, please, please. If there is a chance that the sequel universe takes place in its own multiple universe, and this is the way to explain it, that's all I want.
Well, there is the fact that Daisy Ridley will be reprising her role as Rey in the new set of Star Wars movies that are coming from Disney and Lucasfilm, so that's still going to be a thing. But as Abe said, there is a possibility that multiverse.
And take note, wasn't the original plan for the sequel trilogy that George Lucas put together, wasn't his whole plan to really start exploring the world between worlds?
Yes.
And all of the Wilson Guardian stuff?
Yes, there's that. Well, come on guys, we're getting ahead of ourselves. Ahsoka isn't even finished yet. We may be seeing those seeds planted.
Yeah.
I'm just waiting. I want to see the series succeed.
I mean, what we say now doesn't really have any bearing because we're waiting for the story to unfold.
Yes.
And ultimately our decision should be held down whether right now, with these first 2 episodes, whether it's worth watching, whether Ahsoka is worth watching or not. But given how things have been when it comes to Star Wars as a property and its relations to its fans, whether it's old fans or new fans alike, there's a lot of implications. And, as a Star Wars fan, you can't help but, want to jump to those conclusions.
Of course. And it will always be that case. So far, plot armor thing aside, it's off to a strong start for me. Ahsoka is okay. Yes, it's worth watching. That's my final say on that. And it's still going on till sometime between mid-October, so I have no problem with it. Catch Ahsoka on Disney+.
So guys, what's our score?
Alright, we'll start with you, Rebel.
Okay, so I give Ahsoka currently 3 loft pats out of 5. I'm invested, I want to see where it goes, and I really hope they stick the landing, and I think they will since it's Dave Filoni.
Alright, in my case, plot armor notwithstanding, and the fact that we still have to see the rest of the show, I'll give it a 3.5 out of 5 snips. Yes, Snips is her nickname. And I do enjoy the character of Ahsoka. She's matured, and Rosario Dawson plays it. And this is a good love letter to Ahsoka fans out there, especially my cosplay sis, Ellie, who cosplayed Ahsoka. So, Elle, that show's for you.
Right, I give Ahsoka 3 out of 5 Sabine Wrens. Because, that's better than 1 Sabine Wren. But 3 Sabine Wrens. Creepiness aside. But yeah, 3 out of 5 mainly because I think there's still room for the show to improve.
Yes.
I want to see how it all pans out. If the first 2 episodes have a purpose in terms of pace. And let's see how everything picks up afterwards.
And those Sabine Wrens have plot armor.
Yeah.
Oh, also shout out to my new favorite Star Wars character, Shin.
I love her.
Yeah.
She's okay.
She's pretty cool. I'm here for Nordic medieval Sith Lords.
And we should also pay respect and once again is dedicated to the memory of Ray Stevenson, who plays Balon. This is his last posthumous release as a big property like Star Wars. So, and he was great.
It should be noted that Shin is the apprentice
of Balon.
Balon Skull.
Yeah.
Well, since we're already doing shout-outs here, shout out to my guys at the Rebel Legion, because, Rebels forever.
To all your Star Wars fans out there, and please watch Ahsoka on Disney+.
Disney+, we're right here.
Wait, so is the show worth it?
It's worth it.
It's worth it. Alright, what an interesting week for pop culture and geek.
It was a big week.
epic.
Pretty heavy.
It was heavy too for us, especially for wrestling fans.
Rest in peace, Terry Funk, and rest in peace, Bray Wyatt.
Wyndham Rotunda.
Wyndham Rotunda. you're with Luke Harper, Brody Lee now, and
Wyatt family.
Terry Funk. I know you're just tearing it up in wrestling heaven right now. As wrestling fans, thank you so much.
They paid tribute to both in the latest episode of SmackDown. So it's heartwarming. I mean, it's touching. For anybody who thought that wrestling is just all about showbiz, no, these are personal lives too. Yeah, it's people who love these individuals, and they made an impactful impression. So rest in peace, Bray Wyatt and Terry Funk. Thank you for all your contributions.
Wow.
Yeah, it's heavy.
Pretty heavy.
Meanwhile,
But the show must go on.
Show must go on.
We have to keep on geeking.
You have to keep on geeking, and we've had a lot of great stuff to geek on this week. And stay tuned for next week. Same geek time, same geek channel, because we're gonna have a lot more to geek out on.
socials.
Yeah, sure.
So thank you. Okay. So for more Nerd Rage, you can find Nerd Rage online at nerdrageph.com. And if you want some bite-sized versions of today's episode, you can check us out on Facebook and YouTube. And if you want full-on replays, follow Rock of Manila on YouTube and Facebook for more.
And speaking of replays, if you missed this episode, don't worry because we have replays on Fridays and Sundays at 10 p.m. Gotcha, fam.
Replays in the age of streaming. I mean, who watches replays?
I do.
We do.
Me too. You
We
guys
do.
do. Apparently.
We do.
We all do.
Yeah, I mean, come on. We're not home at exactly 9. So
Yeah.
if you need to catch up, Fridays and Sundays at 10 o'clock.
No excuse.
So this is Tim, Pop Culture Crusader, and the Batman guy.
This is Karen May. Today I am a Kawaii pirate.
This is Veronica Litton, and I am here with my vintage Star Wars figures. Kenner represent.
And this is Adrian, that of the Geeks, and I'm on my way back to my Iron Throne.
That he is.
Yes. And you're on
Nerd Rage! Woohoo!
We have the RJ Soundwave. We have the 15 watt, we have the 30 watt, and we have the 60 watt. Now let's start with the 15 watt RJ Soundwave Acoustic. It has an auxiliary input, headphone input, and it has chorus effect. And it sounds so good and so loud. Listen.